Hello everyone and welcome back to Strife Solutions. I am of course William Strife, and this is Yogscast Complete, a special modded version of Minecraft for us, the Yogscast, to play. You can get your hands on it if you want to play along. A link is down in the description. You can get it off the AT launcher. But that is that without any further introductions. Let's get straight into the episode. So last time around, I finished up creating this farming facility over here on this northwestern plot or platform to the solution facility. Looks fantastic, looks absolutely great. And I basically got the real basic of the machines down, and something that I suppose I should address right off the bat, because as you can see, I've got some crops growing here already, not a whole lot in this plot right here, which is really that's going to be the first step today. But I want to point out that the system that I built in the last episode relies on these Mine Factory Reloaded conveyor belts, and it's something that, you know, I knew right off the top of my head, but I never actually mentioned. It's the fact that because these Mine Factory Reloaded conveyor belts carry items along like so as actual entities on the belt, they can despawn, okay? I didn't cover that, but they can indeed despawn, and I have run into some issues where these harvesters will spew out the seeds out the back and they'll hit the conveyor belt down there, but all of my seeds are funneling down into one single chest right here, which has filled up in the past, and I've lost seeds. In the process, I've actually had to delete some of the gross number, specifically the gross number of melons that I have managed to procure. And I actually get, how many do I have on me? There we go. I turned a lot of them into melon seeds accidentally because I was playing around with this automatic crafting table. I'll get to what I was using that for in a minute here. But before that, let's get to the actual checklist for this episode. It is the greenhouse, or more specifically, everything that goes into the greenhouse. So the reason why I built this was to get ender crops and glowstone crops from the magical crops mod, okay? I've got some emerald crops over here. That's a pretty high tier suit, and I had these whenever I was working in the shack on the hill before I built the tower, so you know, the things have just kind of been sitting around and stalled out, and I've needed to get things back running. But the point is, the purpose of this entire facility was to get the magical crops mod up and running so I can source the more rare materials, specifically, you know, ender pearls, because those are just, it's ridiculous to try to get your hands onto ender pearls in any non-modded way, and magical crops just so happens to be what you might define as the lowest hanging fruit. So that's really what I'm after. I'm going to make use of the glowstone crops as well because I'm high enough into the tiered system, and I'm going to need a whole lot of it to create lamps for the tower because I don't actually have proper lamps set up. So right off the bat, let's get into the magical crops mod so I can give you a quick rundown of this. A lot of people have been covering this, so I don't think that I'm going to cover it in too great of detail, but the way that magical crops works is essence dust here, and I've got some essence dust, and it works with these infusion stones. So the way that you create these special seeds is that you, first of all, you either mine up or you harvest essence dust. This essence dust can be found from essence ore underground. Whenever you mine it up, you just get this little flame-like looking dust, and you can use that straight out. But if you want to grow your own essence, then you just break weeds and tufts of grass out in the world, and you get green seeds. I think I should have some in here. Yeah, these green seeds will randomly drop. They're not a very common drop, but you can pick them up and then you can replant them and they'll grow, and whenever harvested, they'll give you, you know, I don't know, I suppose 2, maybe 3 essence dust, which is really the building block, because this essence dust can in turn be used to with a weak infusion stone to create weak essence, and you make an infusion stone by surrounding a diamond or an emerald with the essence dust. And these infusion stones are tiered, okay? So you use the weak dust surrounding a weak infusion stone to create weak essence, and that doesn't actually consume the stone. I get the weak essence, but the actual weak infusion stone isn't consumed. Now, what you can do with this weak essence in turn is pretty versatile. You can use it to You can combine 4 weak essence and you can make regular essence, or you can combine it with regular seeds and some sort of resource. Like I said, it's a tiered system. You can combine it with coal to make coal seeds. You can combine it with buckets of water to make water seeds, dye to make dye seeds, lava for lava, earth for earth. You get the idea. Empty glass bottles for air, etc. Now, that's all great, but here's the catch. Vox is offline. So, the catch is that if you want to make the higher tier stuff, you have to upgrade your infusion stone. Well, to upgrade your infusion stone, you have to surround it with the essence of crops that you have to use the weak essence to create. So you have to use the weak essence to make, something like coal crops, and then use that coal essence. But if you put the weak stone in the middle, you'll get a regular infusion stone. And once again, that doesn't consume the weak infusion stone. That just gives you a new regular infusion stone. And you get to keep your weak infusion stone, okay? So you basically do that over and over. You tier your way up. You make yourself the next level, the regular infusion stone. I've already gone all the way up through the tiers, as you can see. So if I come in here, I can go ahead and take some regular essence, put it in like so, put a seed in the middle, and I can put glowstone on the edges, and it'll give me glowstone seeds. Now, the chances of these glowstone seeds yielding something like, an additional glowstone seed is pretty low, but whenever this plant completely grows, it will yield 1 glowstone seed. It's pretty low that it will yield a second glowstone seed, but, the point is that this is going to stay here, and it's going to get harvested and replanted over and over, and any extra that comes off of it, I will get my hands on. But like I said, I've lost some seeds in the process of the collection system that I have downstairs, which also plays into the fact that I really have no intention of over-exploiting the Magical Crops mod. The only reason why I'm using it is because it's so difficult to get my hands on some of the more high-tier crops. What I've been after this entire time has been ender seeds, and to make ender seeds, I just surround it with ender pearls. These are the last of the ender pearls that I have, and here we go. I've got ender seeds. This is what I've been after the entire time. So what I want to do is come in here and pop that down like so, and there you go. I've got some ender seeds ready to roll. It's taken me long enough to do this, and I've really I've put a lot more infrastructure into this than I've actually needed to be able to get my hands on this. But at the same time, Strife Solutions, one and only way to go about it. So, there we go. Checked it off the list. Ender crops and glowstone, done. Now I can actually move on to something more interesting, which is biofuel, which I need a bioreactor to create, and I need a biogenerator to turn it into energy. So naturally, Strife Solutions, friends, Strife Solutions, I am not here to just solve my own problems, okay? I am here to sell other people's solutions, whether they be good or bad solutions, whether I be, absolutely fleecing them or not. So naturally, it's important for me to be able to have, green and, environmentally friendly energy solutions for some of the more discerning customers out there in the world. Granted, I don't use that stuff. I'll use the polluting, oil and, nuclear power to my heart's content, but other people out there might not want to use it, and well, I might as well sell it to, if I can sell them what they want, even if it's not something I'm willing to use, then I'm willing to make and or develop it. So, well, first off, I suppose I should nip right in the bud the fact that there are several different types of biofuel in this mod pack. The specific version that I'm going to be using here is biofuel from Mine Factory Reloaded, which is purple. There is one other liquid version of biofuel, which is called biomass. It's green, and it comes from forestry. There's no real significant difference between the two of them other than how they are made, but the purple type from Mine Factory Reloaded is the one that I'm going to be getting into. But in order to make this biofuel, I have to create a bioreactor. So how do we make a bioreactor? Pretty simple. This thing works without any sort of power. You don't need to feed anything into it, you just need to put the proper contents into it. And to make one of these, it's a couple of plastic sheets, a fermented spider eye, a machine frame is glass, steel, and gold, sugar, bricks, and slime on either side. So also a fermented spider eye is a spider eye plus sugar, which I actually need to make here. There we go, fermented spider eye. Now, go ahead and shift click, and I've got myself a bioreactor. Now, the bioreactor, the way that this works is pretty simple and straightforward. It takes seeds, okay? But what type of seeds? Well, Mind Factory Reloaded is kind of picky about what type of seeds it will interact with. Specifically, it will interact with vanilla seeds. It will interact with standard seeds, which grow wheat, pumpkin seeds, melon seeds. It will interact with saplings and any type of vanilla dye. Okay, that's going to be very specific. There are a lot of mod packs add in different types of things that function as dyes or their own version of dye. They have to specifically be the dyes that are created through vanilla. Okay, it needs to actually say Minecraft on the bottom underneath the name. So if it says Minecraft on the bottom underneath the name, that means that it's actually a vanilla dye and it will work in this bioreactor. Now, the way that the bioreactor works is that you put stuff in, it goes into the buffer, you put it in here, and this is all of the things that it's utilizing at the exact same time to make biofuel. Now, efficiency is another story. The bioreactor will create more biofuel whenever it's more efficient, which is kept track of with this bar over here. And efficiency goes up whenever you give it a greater variety of things to decompose into biofuel. Okay, so the more things you give it to process into biofuel, the more efficient it is. So naturally, it's not a good idea for me to just dump all of these melon seeds in at the same time, because if I do that, you can see efficiency is pretty low. It's only at 5 out of 1,425. And I've generated a little bit of biofuel. Now that biofuel is great, but it's kind of useless without any type of generator. So the biofuel and bioreactor are off the list now. Next up is the biogenerator. The biogenerator is created in a very similar fashion. It's from plastic sheets, a furnace, a couple of pistons, a machine frame, some blaze rods, and a redstone transmission coil. Now, first off, the transmission coil. How exactly do we make that? Well, it's just silver and redstone. Go ahead and click that. Then there's the machine frame, already covered that, steel, glass, and gold. But what about the blaze rods? Okay, blaze rods, naturally, we all know these are difficult to get. The traditional way that you get these is you go into the nether, you find a nether fortress, and you hunt down blazes, which are not easy enemies to take on. However, we are playing modded Minecraft. There is a way to get around this. If I hit R, then it shows me I can create these with 2 Vulcan Knight ingots, and I get 1 blaze rod. Now, Vulcan Knight is, I have a lot of it stored in the facility because, remember, I did go to the nether and I did actually mine out a lot of netherrack. I would have been a fool not to make use of the pumping house that I had in place and mine up a bunch of other useful ores. So, Vulcanite is a nether ore, which you can run it through smelting to create Vulcanite ingots, or you can run it through an enrichment chamber, grind it up, and get 2 Vulcanite dust, and double it if you want to. But there you have it. That's where I got my Vulcanite ore from, and I've made myself 6 blaze rods right off the bat. With this, I could even make myself blaze crops, but like I said, I don't have any particular interest in overexploiting the magical crops mod, except for ender pearls. So there we go. Shift click. I've got my biofuel generator. Now, what I need to do is get this thing down and pumping power into this energy cube over here, which in all honesty is doing the job pretty well. It's still pretty full, and I've run these farms quite a bit, but all the same, I want to be completely self-sufficient. Okay, so there we go. I've dug a trench, I've laid some cable down. I'll go ahead and cover this back over. Now I can go ahead and put the biogenerator right there, and it should have hooked up through the bottom. Yeah, that hooked up, no problem. So now I can go ahead and feed a pipe. Here we go, a mechanical pipe right over. And as you can see, it's filled up, and now it's got this little bright image back there, and it's actually generating power. It's not even using up all of the fuel because it's generating more power than I think I need. I know that Mind Factory Reloaded was originally only designed to generate Minecraft joules and not redstone flux or RF, so considering that I'm using universal cables, they might just not get along with Mind Factory Reloaded. If that's the case, I'll find out eventually later down the line. But for now, that's how it works. Now, I could indeed set this sorter up to spew all of the proper seeds using round robin mode, because I never actually showed off how round robin worked during the sorting system episode. But round robin basically means that if you sort one item to 2 separate inventories, it's going to try to make certain that both inventories get an equal number of whatever is being sorted. So if I had 2 inventories sorting, these bone meal seeds to it, then it would try to make certain that there were always, if there was 12 in one and 5 in the other, it's going to sort to the one with 5 because it wants them both to have an equal number of the items, because it can scan the inventories of where it's sending the items. But there you go. That's how I'm working it. I could, like I said, send the seeds into these auto crafting tables, but I found that it's just not a good idea to send items through these crafting tables and into this, because they come out as the seeds will process through the crafting tables. Specifically, I'm talking about the pumpkins and melon slices, because these pumpkins and melon slices have to be crafted into seeds and then sent into the bioreactor. The problem is that sends one seed at a time, and this thing works at its best whenever you actually walk up to it and manually, with a full inventory, dump tons of seeds into it, so that it's utilizing everything all simultaneously. Unfortunately, that's not the situation I'm in. I can't really do that, so I'm leaving it disconnected. That and the fact that I don't want to lose seeds, because the pickup system that I've built underneath the farm system here is less than perfect. But there you go, guys. I've got the farm facility up and running. It's in order, and it's functioning properly now, okay? So I've got ender seeds, and I've got glowstone seeds. It's gonna take me a while to get this entire farm up to snuff, filled up with ender seeds and glowstone seeds, and having enough glowstone dust to light up the entire interior of the tower and craft the lamps that I'm going to need. But for now, everything is done, and everything is checked off of the list. So, without further ado, I am, of course, William Strife of Strife Solutions, everyone. And in this episode, I've finally got the proper seeds for the right crops running on my farm in the farm facility. But that's not all yet. If you haven't forgot, if you as you can see right behind me, I don't actually have fertilized dirt covering all of that one farm plot, and I want it covering all of the farm plots here. But that creates a bit of a problem with being able to make enough of this stuff. But I have a workaround. I'll get super technical again for the next episode. Until then, though, I'll see you later. Bye!